Hi, my name is Finch, and today we're drawing Columbina and all three of her sisters. This is the most complex drawing I have posted so far. The last one was Farina, who took about 30 hours due to her complex outfit and coloring. However, this drawing took nearly 50 hours because it involved 4 characters. This was a learning experience. I'll be upfront with this, I kinda hate this drawing. But someone out there might like it, so here it is. More importantly, I think people can learn with me here. I'm going to go through each thing I dislike about the drawing and break down where I went wrong and how I would do it differently now. So let's start with the pose. I did a lot of thumbnails that I liked, but ultimately chose this staircase sort of one, because I felt it fit the stoic nature of the Moon Sisters and displayed them all equally. In hindsight, I wish I had chosen something more dynamic, and played with the background instead of having all 4 stand in the void. They're all just standing there, doing nothing, and that's not really interesting to look at. Because they're all wearing various shades of white, the 4 of them kind of blend into this big blob together. Were I to go back and redo the posing, I would definitely choose something where they were more separated out, but still interacting in a meaningful way. Maybe running around a field of flowers or something, I don't know. The line art is next. I don't think the line art is bad, but I wasn't really sure where the light was coming from until I started coloring. Normally, I use line weight to indicate light and dark. Here, I put heavier line art on the inner layers of clothing and thinner on the outer layers. It's not a bad idea, but you can hardly tell. I think this is because I was working on a very large canvas size, and unused to a 20 pixel brush being thin enough to be used for sketch work. Honestly, I thought bigger was better with the resolution, but it just made more work for myself. And frankly, most of the places I upload won't even have that resolution anyways. Were I to do the line art again, I would do it on a smaller canvas and really think about where the light's coming from. You may have noticed by now that the painting sometimes jumps ahead. This is because there were numerous times I forgot to hit record. Firealpaca does have an auto-record feature, but my computer doesn't recognize animated PNGs as a format, and that's how Firealpaca wants to store them by default. So if I turn on auto-record, I just end up with a bunch of PNGs whenever I start drawing and no recording. I'm working on building a habit of recording all of my work, but it's something I'm still working out a system for. Next up, coloring. I don't think the coloring is bad. I think there's just too many palettes trying to do different things. I either should have changed the exact colors or separated the girls from one another. Again, they just morph into this big white blob, and because they're all slightly different hues, it almost looks like they're not supposed to be in the same drawing. When I go to shade, I decided the light was directly above Columbina in an attempt to highlight her above her sisters. But instead it just leads to what's called pillow shading. This is a term for when someone shades everything without really knowing why. primarily the edges of an object. I think it works out because her sisters all look fine, better even when I add shading to them, but it purposefully makes Columbina a focal point, and it's kind of a bad one. I think I want to experiment more with complex lighting, stuff at angles and colors or multiple sources. I think multiple sources of light totally could have fixed this. My biggest takeaway is that if I'm working on a drawing and I can tell I don't like it really early on, I should just stop and draw something else. There is no shame in walking away from a project or starting over. I totally fell into the sunken cost fallacy and did what my art teacher used to call polishing a turd. What it means is that if you have a poor base, the rest of your drawing will follow. There's something to be said about trusting the process, but I think I trusted it too much here. I can't say I'm proud of this drawing, but I am glad that I'm posting it. For a long while, I didn't think I was going to, but as I said in the beginning, someone will like this more than I do. And if you're that person, I hope you enjoy the sister's family portrait. See you in the next one.